Welcome to Stop the Fight, and today we're recapping the Lomachenko and the Gervonta Davis fights from this weekend. Let's go!
Don't brag about taking my side piece! Don't brag about taking my side piece, though!
I broke my back. Back is broken. Spinal.
He's strong man, good boy, just...
We lost on every single bet this weekend. It happens, guys. You have to be aware that these kind of things can happen. We were wrong at every step of the way. Both Davis and Lomachenko showed their class, showed their pedigree, and showed why these guys are in and around the best weight class in boxing. We'll say 135, although Tank obviously fought at 140. But you can see why the Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney weight class is absolutely the best weight class in boxing. All those guys are pound-for-pound guys. All those guys located in and around one weight class, with Shakur Stevenson being at 130 with Oscar Valdez. This is the murderer's row, and you can see it. You can see it. So, yeah, we were wrong. We were wrong. Both guys were better than we anticipated, and, it hurt us in the pocket, but as a fan, it was great to see. Let's talk Lomachenko first. So, Lomachenko was fighting Masayoshi Nakatani. He was coming off his defeat to Teofimo Lopez. Masayoshi Nakatani had previously gone all 12 rounds with Teofimo Lopez and given him a tough second half of the fight. He also came from behind and stopped Felix Verdejo. So our pick was the Nakatani to win, straddled with Lomachenko by decision. I thought that if Teofimo couldn't get him out of there, the lighter-handed Lomachenko would not be able to get him out there. Well, I was wrong. So while it is true that Lomachenko is not the puncher that Teofimo is, he really neutralized Nakatani. It looked like Nakatani did not belong anywhere near him. Lomachenko, anywhere near Lomachenko in that ring. It was a very one-sided affair. It was utter domination from the start to the finish to the stoppage. It was quite a ridiculous performance by Lomachenko. Really showed just how much, how much of a higher category of fighter he is compared to Nakatani. Remember, Nakatani was 4.5 inches bigger, had significantly the longer reach. And in numerous, just looking at the jabs landed on ConcuBox, there were only 2 rounds. Holy shit. There were only 2 rounds in which Nakatani even landed jabs. As a matter of fact, he only landed 3 jabs all fight, according to ConcuBox. 2 in round 3 and 1 in round 5. He didn't land a single jab in any other round. That's astonishing for a tall, lengthy fighter such as Nakatani against a significantly shorter, almost T-Rex armed Lomachenko. Again, this was complete domination. In round 2, Nakatani only landed 1 punch. He landed 2 punches in round 1, 1 punch in round 2, 4 punches in round 3, 6 punches in round 4, 3 punches in round 5, and 6 punches in round 6. Then he lands 3, 2, and 2 the following rounds. That's beyond dominated. Yeah, the fight was properly stopped. Nakatani just couldn't do anything. He was going to keep getting hurt. And this is one of those things where you don't need to be a tremendous puncher. Obviously, Verdejo had him down twice. Teofimo, I don't think he ever really had him hurt in there. I think he had him stunned a couple of times. But you have to hit some fighters. They don't get hurt when they see your punches head on. They just kind of take them, no matter how hard you hit. No matter how hard you hit the fighter. If they see the punch coming, or if you hit at the same strength levels, you're never going to get him out. Lomachenko hits you at angles. There were many times Nakatani had no idea where the punch was coming from. He just got hit by something. So you don't have to be a tremendously heavy-handed puncher to get the knockouts or the TKOs when you hit people when they can't see him coming, because you can't prepare for it, you can't tense up, you just get clipped. You don't know when, you don't know how it's going to happen, but it just happens. So it wasn't utter domination. It was, again, really revs up the excitement for a rematch with Teofimo. You know, we'll talk about it as we get closer, and in my mind, I still can't make up what I think is going to happen in this rematch. Because, like I said, I do believe Lomachenko did lose that first fight. It was a close fight, but he did lose it by giving away the first half of that fight. But here with Nakatani, he looked like the Lomachenko of old. He was in form. But he was a little bit slower than on his feet than I used to see him, and I think that just has something to do with age. He's still lightning fast, of course, but just a little bit, I think, slower, a little bit. So, again, great performance. I think if you're a boxing fan, and if you're especially like a technique fan, you love that technical shit, you love good footwork, you love angles, there really is no better fighter in the modern age. In modern, I mean really like post Roy Jones, who's giving you the kind of angles and shots from angles where the person just has no idea where it's coming from. You know, Roy Jones did it by pure athleticism. Lomachenko does it by, obviously Lomachenko's an athletic guy, but he does it more so with knowing exactly where to be. He doesn't have the same athletic gifts as Roy Jones. No. But, you know, he is an athletic fighter, and he does also know the game very well. He knows where to be and how to throw then, and you don't know that. That's the crazy part. You know, where he's fighting against world championship level fighters. Fighters have fought for belts, and he's confusing some. And even against Teofimo, there were points where Teofimo was getting shots he was not ready to take. Lomachenko was in the right angle. It's like you can't even see him from that angle. But again, like I said, this only makes it 9 rounds. So again, unfortunately, we thought that Nakatani would make it the full way and Lomachenko would win a decision, or, you know, obviously because of such a wide odds, you always want to see the underdog, especially one that can make 12 rounds with Lopez, and one who did get Verdejo out of there. So I still think the thinking here was right. We just slightly underestimated Lomachenko here. He turned out to be well recovered and in good form. So super awesome fight. Again, it goes 9 rounds before it gets waved off. Now let's talk about Gervonta Davis. Now, Gervonta Davis may be, in terms of like the excitement that the power brings, probably the second most exciting fighter in the sport behind like Wilder, although Wilder, since the defeat to Fury, has kind of faded out of the public imagination. But this Gervonta Davis is probably the most exciting fighter when it comes to that. At any point, it seems like Gervonta Davis has the power to get you out of here. And, you know, I thought with Mario Barrios, and I was kind of right. You saw he had no quit, and I can't wait to see Barrios again. But Barrios had no quit. And when in the 8th round, Gervonta Davis landed those, first he landed with the hook, but then he scored an additional knockdown in that 8th round. I thought it was over, but Barrios was able to muster it, put it all together, and through sheer will made it to the 11th round before he was finally put down by a body shot, which I think just took the remainder of his energy out. He landed a lot on Gervonta Davis. You know, Gervonta Davis does have susceptible defense, but it's his style. He's willing to get into that position where he'll take a few shots, but he's going to land. You know, he's a good counterpuncher. He's not afraid of, seems to have good chin, because Barrios is a pretty reasonable puncher, and Davis seemed to take his shots well and was able to, again, land his own in return. So, from what I understand, the unofficial scoring had it even going into the 11th, which is insane. I don't see how that was. It seemed like Davis was landing the significantly harder blows, and the 2 knockdown round, it seems like the unofficial judge give most of the rounds to Barrios. I didn't see that. I saw the rounds being kind of even, but with the 2 knockdowns, I would expect Gervonta Davis to be comfortably ahead going into the last 2 rounds. But, you know, people saying it was 94-94, some nonsense like that. Yeah, no. Although Mayweather was actually saying it in his corner that, you know, you're tied. That whole situation was kind of cool. You know, you see like Mayweather actively coaching the young man. But Gervonta Davis, like I said, let's talk about his power a little bit. stupendous power, carries it late in fights. You know, I obviously, again, we lost money here too. Here I thought that Gervonta Davis was going to be taken in his second fight ever to a decision, simply because I kind of rightfully believed that Barrios would have no quit. He would have no quit. He was the bigger man, also 4.5 inches bigger than Davis, similar to the Lomachenko-Nakatani fight. And similar to this way, you just saw Davis being a little bit, well, not a little, he was at a higher level than Barrios. Barrios can absolutely fight, without question. But Davis was able to catch him numerous times with very clean right hands. I still don't think Davis is a natural 140-pounder. I think he should stay at 135 or only fight, or certainly not go up any higher than 140. I feel he is, like Lomachenko at 135. At 140, Davis has reached his peak of where he can go up. At 5'5", their size just becomes an issue. The bigger guys are just stronger. Eventually, he's going to run into some absolute killers up there, and the size just becomes an issue. But, you know, Davis has explosive power. He has real power. And you see him carry it through the weight class. Now, of course, given how often he landed on Barrios and how cleanly, it's not the same power that it was at 130, right? But it is still very concussive, very strong, very explosive. And he's an athletic kid. You know, don't let the kind of muffin top defense that he likes to put up, the stationary defense, fool you. Davis is a very athletic kid. You can tell by the way he's able to pivot his body and land the shots when he needs them. Fast hands when he needs them. I think his footwork can use a little bit of something. Like I said, I think it has more to do with the style. He'll stand there in the pocket taking some shots just so he can counter off them. Again, this probably works better at 130 and 135, but at 140 with some of these stronger guys, you're always gambling. You know, you're gonna get an explosive guy who's gonna catch you clean, but because you're standing in his wheelhouse. But again, he proved us wrong. He knocked him out. You know, I actually thought the fight was gonna be over in that 8th. So he knocked him out. He knocked Barrios out. Barrios, to his credit, gave credit to Davis himself, saying, "Oh, he caught me slipping." And you know, it's nice when there are no sore losers. It's nice that both fighters were able to embrace and give respect to each other. And Davis, you know, he's really gonna be a problem for everyone. Like, if I had to say, I think Davis is the best of the 135 group, simply because I think Lomachenko is just too old now, and she's really a 126, 130 pound. Lomachenko's too small for 135. I think Teofimo. It will be interesting with Davis, but I think Davis does some things better than Teofimo. There were points where Teofimo was getting stung by Lomachenko in the second half of that fight. I don't know if his jaw would be able to hold up. His chin would be able to hold up to Davis. I just think Davis hits that hard. Similar speed. It will be, again, interesting fight. Anyone, like I said, those 5 guys at the 130 pounder, Shakur Stevenson, you know, and Oscar Valdez, you just have in and around 135 pounds, just some of the best fighters in the sport. If these guys can all fight each other, like imagine if Davis can get Teofimo, can get Haney, Garcia, or Lomachenko if he beats Teofimo and goes takes Haney. Think about the kind of resumes that could be built. Whole careers and whole legacies can be built in the next 2 or 3 years for some of these fighters just by fighting enough of themselves in and around 135. You'll have legacies completely, because these fighters are class. These fighters are elite. You can tell. No one's gonna look at like Lomachenko and Davis and Teofimo and say like, oh yeah, these are B-level champs. No. These are all A-level guys. You know, they each have their different strengths, of course, and weaknesses, but they're all A-level fighters. You know, Teofimo and Davis are blasting out champs like they're nothing. Lomachenko is making professional boxers at the world-class level look like they've never seen an inside of a boxing ring at points. Like, we're really talking about some advanced stuff from all these fighters. You know, Devin Haney, like, again, everyone's like, oh, Devin Haney was turning against Linares. Linares was a high-level fighter. He just was never able to put it and keep it together for that long. But Linares is a very high-level fighter. Ryan Garcia has a little bit of, I think he has a lot of promise. He's just a little bit young. He's a little bit more seasoning, right? And he'll be right up there. I think Shakur is ready. He He's similar to Lomachenko, different style, but it's similar in the sense where like neither of these guys are packing too much power. They can get the stoppages. I think they have enough to get your respect, but not enough to kind of put you out one shot. So of course Shakur is going to be called boring, but he's not. He's technical. He's tight. He's what you need. So again, I'm more impressed with his weight class. And finally, with the last bet we lost, again, we thought that Jeison Rosario was going to have a shot here. Again, I think I'm just slightly overrating Rosario because of the Julian Williams win. And I think I need to stop because this is now 2 fights straight that he's kind of cost me. Here, I think he was just the significantly bigger man versus Julian Williams physically, not height-wise, they're about the same. And that's really what it is. Sometimes you just have a fighter's number, but clearly Rosario against now second fighter after, obviously Jermell Charlo knocked him out. Erickson Lubin was also able to break him down and with him. So it seems to be not so much that Rosario can bang. He can. He was ahead on the actually he was behind on the cards. But he was kind of competitive with Lubin. You kind of sense that he was going to wilt under it, and we can argue about whether that was a low blow or not. But I don't care. After losing, like this is like the start of the losses of the evening for me as a bettor. And again, I'm not upset. Of course, I'm upset that we lost money, but these things happen. You have to be prepared for them. You're not going to win every fight. We just had like a 5 or 6 week winning streak, right? And that's great because again, we're always trying to find value in these plays. We're rarely taking something like above a -120. We're always even money or better. That's our play here. Always. We're always looking to double up or more, or actually absolutely more. I did win one bet. So what I like to do sometimes is take the parlay of the exact opposite of what I believe. So that kind of saved me, which is another reason why I'm not too upset, where I just took the exact opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I took the Gervonta by KO, Lomachenko by KO, and Lubin by KO in a parlay. And that thankfully offset a little bit of the damage that I took from losing the fights outright, the bets outright. Right, because I only it's only like a little kind of like, well, in case I'm wrong all the way through. And thankfully, this is like one of those cases everyone says always have that lottery put, if you play the stock market. Always have something that's like 30% down on the SPY, a put 3 months out or so. You do that every couple of months. You rebuy that put at, I don't know, like tiny percentage of your net worth, something like 0.05%. So year round, I think you wind up sacrificing like 3% or less in insurance. So you obviously dampen your game, but if a big crash comes, you're gonna be thankful. Again, I'm not even going to link the paper. There's a whole mathematics behind it. But sometimes I'll do that when I have a long, like a lot of picks and I feel really confident. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Let me do the exact opposite in a parlay play. It's like a tiny insurance in case I'm wrong all throughout, which happened this time. And again, I'm not upset at being wrong. I love boxing. That's my favorite sport. So even when I am losing money, unfortunately, I can still have a good time. As silly as that sounds. Again, but hopefully we'll be back to winning ways in about 2 weeks. And I fully intend to be again in winning ways in about 2 weeks. I don't think we have anything for the next 2 weeks coming up. I think this is it for us until after the 4th. I think, when is that? Let me check it out real quick. The 4th is next Sunday, so I don't think we have anything until the 11th, 10th, 11th. And 10th, 11th, obviously I'll make some shows. Maybe I'll talk about some people's careers. Maybe I'll talk about age in boxing. I've been wanting to do an episode. I want to do a little. I think I need to create like a spreadsheet or maybe really go through BoxRec and really try and hone in on this whole like aging and boxing business. Because I really believe sometimes fans do not understand that Lomachenko at 33 cannot be getting better. And this is something I do want to do. Like I want a long-winded, maybe hour-long episode on like a discussion, really bringing in a couple of greats and focus again and seeing I'm gonna have to rewatch a lot of fights and see if I can really put into clear words or clear examples of what happens, especially in these lighter weight classes, to fighters in their 30s and how they age, and if they don't, maybe I'm wrong entirely. Maybe fighters just stay young forever. No, obviously we know that's not the case. But again, Lomachenko at 33 is not the same thing as Davis at 26. Guys, I love Lomachenko. He's one of my favorite fighters right now. But if someone said, if you were buying long, paying Davis at 26 for Lomachenko at 33, you'd be insane to buy Lomachenko long at 33 at lightweight. You'd just be insane. Short term, yeah, maybe that's the better stock, right? Maybe Lomachenko's the better stock for the next year or two, at best case scenario. But if someone said I need a 6-7 year long haul, no, I'm taking Davis every time. A 26-year-old fighter has a significantly more time in the sport than a 33-year-old does left. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. That's a quick recap. Again, we lost on every single play. This happens. You know, if you follow betting channels, any of them, this is going to happen. You're going to take losses. You cannot win every single play. So again, hope you enjoyed the fights. If you didn't see them, go watch them. They're both excellent performances. The Gervonta Davis Barrios is an actual good fight. The Lomachenko one is an excellent fight from a technical perspective. You go watch Lomachenko show his prime self off, because I feel that was a prime-esque performance from the young man. It's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys on a Thursday. It's over.
I'm going to go home and break my wife's hip.
Don't brag about taking my side piece. Don't brag about taking my side piece, though.
I broke my back. Back is broken. Spinal.
He's strong, man. Good boy. You know, just.